We've all had those goals that seem out of reach, but the truth is, impossible is often just unexplored. Welcome back to Dream Ignite Build, my friends. Today, we are going to be talking about the concept of the gap and basically the space between where we are and where we want to be. This is really, really important because when we are thinking about our big, immaculate goals, they can seem really impossible. And so, basically, what I want to talk about today is provide for you the opportunity to bridge the gap from what seems impossible to making it possible. So, we're going to be talking about your belief system, strategy, and how to create momentum behind all the things that you are doing. Because it's not just about the goal itself that seems impossible, it's about your mindset and all of the things that you are doing in between in order to realize the potential in what you are trying to achieve. So, my personal goal for you today is to help you to identify your impossible goal. What is that for you? And the fact is that we probably have a lot of impossible goals. But today, I want you to be thinking as we are going through this what that immediate impossible goal is so that we can lean into that. Now, there's a myth of impossible. What we often think of as impossible is often just something that we haven't practiced enough yet. We haven't had enough time to really, truly believe in it. So, something that I learned is that the brain naturally resists uncertainty. It labels the unfamiliar as unsafe. And most impossible goals are simply just they're unpracticed or they're untested. And so for me, when I'm thinking about an impossible goal, I'm asking myself, what do I need to do to practice moving towards this impossible goal? Fear disguises itself as logic, and it basically presents itself in a way that it makes us think differently. It makes us think we can't do things that we are capable of doing. So, what we want to do is reframe this. Instead of I can't, I haven't tried this yet. That's how we want to reframe. So, I want you to think about a time where you pushed through something that once felt unreachable. And this can be for anything, personally, professionally. There may have been a time where you wanted to achieve a big goal that just you didn't have the how. But we don't have to worry about every exact step in this case. We just have to recognize that we need to start with the belief system. Beliefs is essential before you can actually start moving forward and implementing on anything. So every breakthrough starts with the decision to believe that it's possible, even without the proof. You have to believe that what you want is that important. The stories you repeat shape the limits you live within. So if you are creating this box that you have to live in, then it's preventing you from going outside of it and trying something new. Visualization and looking at what could potentially be is so incredibly powerful. So, what's the one belief you need to upgrade to make your goal possible? This is the simple shift that I want you to start thinking about. Replacing if with when. Instead of if I do this, when I do this. You see, because the way that we talk to ourselves is so important. It's essential in beginning to reframe this belief system. Aligning actions with vision is what is going to take for you to actually start implementing the strategy that is going to take you to that next level of success. So big goals shrink when broken down into consistent daily actions. And that's one thing that I think that we should start looking more clearly at is what are the actions that are going to connect your current state to your desired one? We all have different action steps, right? But we need to identify what those are. So, focusing on, for example, progress over perfection. I'm going to just focus on being 1% better every day. Look at your time blocking or your habit stacking for sustainable progress. Like, how am I actually tracking what I'm doing so that I know that I am making these small shifts? How are the small shifts compounding over time? Because what ends up happening is that consistency will lead to traction, right? Every strong bridge is supported by its solid beams, and having people around you are going to help you to also create that solid support system. So looking at who is around me that's going to help me to get there. You don't have to cross the bridge alone. You don't have to do anything on your own. Remember that community, mentorship, and accountability are going to be the biggest pieces of this. So I'm always asking myself, in order for this to occur, in order for this impossible goal to be realized, Who are the people that are going to support me to get there? How am I going to have that essential support system that's going to bridge the gap from where I'm at now to where I need to be? So I personally feel like when I'm going through any of these reframings, it makes me feel, I get uncomfortable. So vulnerability doesn't mean that you are not strong. It's not meaning that you are weak. It is a part of how we grow. So when we're talking about how we can ask for help, when we can get support, that is going to help us to grow. And that's going to further our belief system in order to get us to where we need to go. And when you reach the other side, it's not the end, it's a new beginning. This is your opportunity to look at your next impossible goal. And I'm always of the mindset that let's celebrate every single win. Recognition reinforces belief. So if you recognize all that work that was put in up until this point, you're going to appreciate the things that you accomplish in the future so much more. Reflect on how far you've come instead of how far you need to go. This is really, really important. The next impossible dream is raised, essentially. So like I always think to myself, there is no ceiling. A lot of the time we talk about shattering the ceiling. Well, if we remove the ceiling entirely, then it's just completely open-ended, right? So remember that your impossible goals are not built overnight. It's built through consistent belief, action, and courage. And having courage is hard, but we all have it within us. We all have that capacity to be able to unleash our greatest potential. I love talking about this. I work with all of my clients on bridging this gap because I know that they do have this within them. It's innately within us to believe big, to create massive opportunities, and to change the world. And I'm here to tell you today, if you are questioning yourself, don't, because there's so much more within you ready to be released to the world. You just need to decide today that the impossible is possible. You were the person that decided to try. You were the person that decided to give your best possible effort. And if we wake up every single day giving 100%, knowing that you are working towards this goal, it's going to create momentum. It's going to create inertia, and you are going to continue to change lives along the way. Thank you so much for tuning in to Dream Ignite Build today. I hope that you'll subscribe to us, that you'll continue to watch, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.